Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di and today I am bringing you my June wrap-up. In June I read 2 novels and 20 volumes of manga. Now that doesn't include the fact that I read 4 omnibus volumes of manga, so technically it was a little more than that. But we're not going to talk about that right now. So yes, I am not splitting up my videos for this wrap-up. It's going to be novels and manga. I will start off with the novels, so for those of you who aren't interested in the manga, you can end the video when I'm done talking about the novels. But for those of you who are or maybe only interested in the manga, I'll leave a timestamp down in the description box below, so you can just skip over to that if you'd like. So, as you know, I film at my office or in my office during my lunch break, and I completely forgot to bring some of these books with me to the office. So I'll put some pictures up here so that you can see what they look like. Also, sorry for these things back here. I've noticed that because the light that comes into my office kind of messes up with the focus and the lighting on my videos. I tried to block out some of that. I'm not allowed to like put up curtains, and the blinds are already closed as much as they are able to, so trying to work with this, especially because I have nothing to hold up for you on this video. I'm hoping that putting those up will help a little bit. So anyway, let's get into it. Novels. So the first book I finished was Just Desserts, which is the first book in the Savannah Reed mystery series by G.A. Kevitt. This was the Book 1 Cozy's Club, or first in a series, Cozy Mystery Book Club, second quarter pick for this year. For those of you who don't know, I do run this Cozy Mystery Book Club in the Mystery Madness Goodreads group, so if you're interested in seeing what other titles we have read or would like to chime in on any of those, the threads are never closed, so you can chime in on them at any time. Anyway, so this book, Just Desserts, is about a female detective who is investigating the grisly murder of a councilwoman's husband. Now, this is technically a cozy mystery. It is listed as such on Goodreads, but I think for those of you who are looking for a traditional cozy mystery, this one might not be something that you'd enjoy. There were a lot more racy subjects talked about. The murder was especially more grisly than ones you'd find in a normal cozy mystery, and yeah, it doesn't really turn into what I would consider a cozy mystery by cozy mystery parameters until pretty far along in the book. I particularly was not wowed by this first book. So much so that I'm not even sure that I want to continue it. As I mentioned, this does follow a female detective, which is unusual for a cozy mystery. But there's some things in the storyline that have to do with her weight that I did not like, or did not sit well with me. She's definitely someone who enjoys food, which that part I appreciated, but there was a lot of negative stuff in regards to her weight that kind of offset that, what I liked about her enjoying the food. We immediately get some backstory about her family. We get introduced to a younger sister, and I didn't enjoy those parts at all. I thought her sister was obnoxious. I thought that her mother, Savannah's mother, didn't handle that situation well at all. I don't even feel like she was a good mother. And yeah, I think introducing all of that into a first volume could have waited until a subsequent volume, since there's so much already going on in a first volume of a series. You're getting to know your main central characters. You're figuring out how, you know, they work together and what their investigative process is like. And in this particular one, from what I understand from other people I've heard who have read more books in this series, sets up something that's central to following books. So yeah, I was disappointed by this read. I think I will probably pick the second one up just to see, like, if maybe now that we've gotten past all of that setup and maybe the family stuff, that we see how the characters like work together in the next one. So yeah, I didn't enjoy this one too much. It was okay. Still, I would say I still enjoyed it, but it's not like I really enjoyed it. I probably won't ever reread this one. But yeah, so if you've read this book, or if you would like to read it, please let me know what you thought of it or what you're thinking of it as you go in the thread in the Mystery Madness Goodreads group. As I said, I linked it down in the description box below. The other book I read in June was Crazy Rich Asians. You probably all know what this one is about. It follows Rachel Chu, who gets invited to go to Singapore to accompany her boyfriend to her boyfriend's good friend's wedding, but also to meet his family. Unbeknownst to her, her boyfriend is rather wealthy, and it's not something that he's disclosed to her during their relationship. And little does she know that practically everyone who's anyone in Singapore knows of her impending arrival and will do anything and stop at nothing to break up her relationship with the most eligible bachelor in their like society, I guess. I did watch this movie before I read the book, and truthfully I wasn't running to the theater to watch the movie when it came out. I don't know, I just had some reservations about it, and so I did watch it once it was released to Blu-ray, and my uncle thoroughly enjoyed this movie. He kept telling me, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it. It was so hilarious. He said he's watched it 10 times. And so I borrowed a copy from him and I watched it, and it was good. It wasn't the best movie ever, but it was good. I didn't find it as funny as I think my uncle found it. There were some things that I definitely related to, but it didn't like leave a lasting impression on me. And while there aren't a lot of movies that focus around Asian cast, which I was appreciative of seeing, the storyline just wasn't like as awesome as I was hoping it was going to be. Now, in regards to the book, I listened and read it physically. I think the narrator on the audiobook did a really good job. She really like brought the characters to life, and the pronunciations were done really well. But I find that, and this has nothing to do with the audiobook, it's more about the book in general, the novel was a lot more vulgar than the movie was. And I didn't appreciate that about the novel at all. I also found it interesting where they decided to stop the movie as opposed to the novel. And I truthfully don't know whether I like the movie or the novel better. They both brought different things to the table for me. And yeah, I would say I definitely enjoyed this a lot more than just desserts. And I am definitely interested in continuing and seeing how the story plays out between our main couple as well as everybody else that we get introduced to in this series. And this does have a pretty large cast of characters, but unlike other books where there's a lot of characters, I didn't have trouble remembering who was who in this story. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that I watched the movie first, so I kind of had a visual in my mind about what these characters look like and was able to place them better throughout the story, or if it was just that it was presented in such a way where it was easier for me to recognize them. But anyway, yeah, I did enjoy that one, and we'll be continuing on to the next books in the trilogy. And I didn't mention before, but that one was done by Kevin Kwan. So those were all of the novels that I read in June. I fell behind on my novel reading goal. In June, I have been reading a lot of manga. That's just where my interest lies right now. But I am trying to catch up in the month of July. So we'll see how that goes. I still do want to read 52 novels in the year of 2019. So I'm still trying to do that, but I'm getting a little bit sidetracked. Anyway, if you're only interested in the novels that I read, that's all I've got for you this time. I'm going to go into the manga that I read now. So in June, I read volumes 4 through 7 of the Fruits Basket Collector's Edition manga volumes, which I think these are you've got 2 volumes per omnibus. Again, I think you all know what Fruits Basket is all about, especially because of the remake that has been airing. But it's about Toru Honda, who after losing her mom gets taken in by a family that has a mysterious curse and begins to change their lives in ways that none of them could have thought possible. I'm really enjoying reading through this manga. This is my first read through of the series. I did watch the first anime series that was released, and I knew then that they had diverged from the main story quite a bit. But I never got into reading the actual manga then. When they started releasing the collector's edition omnibus, I did collect them, but again, after I finished collecting them, never read it. So when they came out with the remake, I thought it was a perfect time to kind of absorb everything at once. So I am actually watching the anime, the new one and the old one, kind of in conjunction with each other. I'm trying to keep it so that where we are in the story is the same throughout both series, but I am ahead as far as the manga goes. I am really enjoying the manga so far. I did know something about the end of the manga series right after I had watched the first anime, but I never okay, I'll be honest, that was not my ship. I had never shipped that coupling. I'm trying not to give any spoilers away. My ship was another coupling. But I can understand that's how it came about, I guess. But nonetheless, even though I know something about how this is gonna end, I am enjoying the journey of getting there. There is a section about the student council that I'm in right now that I'm not enjoying too much. It just doesn't seem to fit in the story for me, but you know, we'll see how that goes. And I am enjoying seeing all of the Zodiac characters. I have met them all by volume 7 of the omnibus, so now it's just a matter of seeing how this all clicks together. So yeah, I do plan on finishing that series this year, and I am enjoying the remake and really love that first ending song by Vicky Blanca. So yeah, I'm really enjoying Fruits Basket. Then I read volumes 1 to 10 of Happy Marriage. I am not going to wrap that one up here for you because I did complete the entire series in the month of June. I will have a series thoughts video on that entire series as a separate post, hopefully within the next week or so. So look out for that. But that is a mature manga series about a contract marriage. So then I read the volumes for my real life manga book club. I do host a manga book club at a local Barnes & Noble. I was asked to do so by one of the managers there. And so me, my daughter, and 5 or 6 teenagers get together once a month and we talk about manga. So we started off with 2 volumes every month, and that's increased to 2 volumes plus a series read. So we decided to start reading Ouran High School Host Club as our series read. So we read volumes 1 and 2, and this follows Haruhi, who's a rare scholarship student at an affluent school. She, while looking for a quiet place to study, instead finds the Host Club, which is a group of 6 affluent and attractive guys who spend their days entertaining the girls by throwing parties and events. This meeting changes Haruhi's life because she unwillingly is made to join their club, and it also changes the lives of the Host Club members themselves by knowing her. So I read through most of this series a long time ago. I didn't read the whole thing though, and I'm not quite sure why I stopped, but I do have the box set now. When I was reading it before, I was borrowing it from the library. I have watched the anime, I have watched the live action Japanese drama, as well as the accompanying movie sequel, I guess. I really enjoy this story. I'm interested to see where the story goes after the end of the anime, and from where I read up to before I had stopped originally, I know I had gone past that, but it's been several years now and I don't quite remember what happened. But yeah, our group members are really enjoying it. They have all seen the anime, and so going through this journey with them to where we're going through things that we've already seen is interesting. I'm really excited to see what we think about what happens after where the anime leaves off. So yeah, I really am enjoying my reread of this classic shoujo manga. And then for the 2 other volumes we had picked up, we read the first volume of Dead Man Wonderland, which is about a boy who was framed for the murder of his entire class. And then after he's sentenced, he gets shipped off to like this theme park for criminals, where they fight to the death as entertainment for the country. It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic type setting where I think Tokyo was hit with like a major earthquake or something, and there's like devastation, and this theme park is like there. But my daughter has watched the anime of this series. I've watched a good portion of it, and it's not one that I enjoyed. It was very violent. I didn't find anything that I was interested about this series. The reason that we read it as a group was because it was one of the ones that the group members wanted to read. A good portion of the members did enjoy this. In fact, it's one of the members' favorite series. But for me, I didn't enjoy this. I definitely remembered everything that I had read happening in the anime, and it's not a series that I will be continuing or collecting. So that was Dead Man Wonderland. And then the other selection that we had read was Snow White with the Red Hair, Volume 1, which is about the herbalist Shirayuki, who catches the unwanted attention of the prince because of the color of her hair. So she flees the kingdom after leaving just her hair for the prince, only to find an unlikely ally with the prince from the next kingdom. This one, I had heard such good things about it, so I guess my expectations were really high for this series. I have not watched the anime. So my first encounter with this story was through this manga, and I wasn't like wowed by it. It was an okay story. If I'm gonna get really nitpicky about something, I feel like Shirayuki is supposed to be like this really strong female character. You know, she finds out that the prince has an interest in her only because of the color of her hair. She chops off her hair and leaves it for him, which I think is a pretty like strong statement there, and like leaves the country just because she doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She wants to, you know, be the herbalist. She wants to learn more. She wants to hone her skills, and it seems like she just constantly gets into situations where she needs saving from a guy. That I don't appreciate. I mean, I guess if she wasn't portrayed as such a strong female character, I probably wouldn't have an issue with her constantly being saved by a guy character, but I kind of feel like that's how she's being set up. And though I find like her knowledge about the herbs and how she applies it to things is interesting, I'm not sure where this story is going. There's an obvious connection between her and Ren, I think his name is, coming through. But yeah, this one was just okay for me. I will give the next volume a shot. I will probably give the anime a shot to see if that changes my views on things. I do find that sometimes when I have trouble getting into a manga, watching an anime or a live action episode or so, or movie or whatever, of the same series does help me get into reading the source material more. But yeah, I'm gonna have to see how I feel on this one later. The consensus from my group was that they didn't enjoy this one as much either. I think a couple of them had seen the anime and they said the anime was better, or as far as they remembered it was better. But yeah, I did pick up the second volume, so I will be reading that one sometime. But it wasn't one of those series where I'm like, oh my god, I need to know what happens next. So yeah. So the last couple volumes of manga, I actually read volume 11 in June and I read volume 12 in July. So since they're from the same series, I'm just going to wrap up volume 12 here. And that was from Blue Exorcist from Kazure Kato. I realize I've done a very bad job at telling you the mangaka's names on these series. So Fruits Basket is by Natsuki Takaya. Dead Man Wonderland is by Jinsei Kataoka. Snow White with the Red Hair is by Sarada Akizuki. And I'm sorry, the lighting just got really bad. And as I said, oh, Happy Marriage is by Maki and Joji, which I'm not wrapping up in this video, but look out for that video later. And Blue Exorcist by Kazure Kato. So Blue Exorcist is a series that I've been reading for a while. We've watched both animes. It's about Rin, who discovers he is the son of Satan, and after his foster father is killed by Satan, Rin vows to become the best exorcist and destroy Satan, no matter what it takes. These events take him to True Cross Academy, where he begins his journey learning how to become an exorcist. But it's not as easy a task as he thought it would be, especially because he needs to hide the fact that he has demonic blood from his classmates. This series is very enjoyable for me. We've gotten past where both animes have taken place, and I've got to some new source material. In volume 12 there was a surprising turn of events which I definitely wasn't expecting, and now I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. It's a series that I'm really enjoying. My daughter is also enjoying this one as well. We enjoyed the animes quite a bit. And there was a little nod to two of my favorite Japanese pop groups, J-pop groups, in volume 11. Rookies is Punked, who I believe does a opening or ender to Blue Exorcist, but also does openings and endings for Yowamushi Pedal, Bleach, and the other group that was mentioned in volume 11 was Overworld, and they also do an opening or two for Blue Exorcist, Bleach, and a couple others. So yeah, I thought it was really fun to see those groups mentioned in the manga. The story is just really interesting to me. There's a dynamic that I don't want to mention because I think it would be spoilery, but that dynamic is also very interesting to me, and I'm kind of waiting to see how that ends up. But yeah, it's a series that I'm really enjoying. I am not collecting this one at this time, but I think we might start. We are borrowing this one from the library currently. Yeah, volumes 11 and 12, really enjoyable. Surprising things happened, and I'm looking forward to see where it goes in the next volume. So that takes care of everything that I read in the month of June. let me know if you've read any of these or what you thought of it. I'm trying to focus on novels in July. I do have plans on participating in the reading rush at the end of July, but every time I say I plan on participating in a readathon, I never actually participate. I've just had the worst luck with all of my library holds coming in from the library at the same time recently. It's partially because I've had these holds for a long time, like months and months, and so they're finally like at that point where they're ready to be released to me, and they just don't fit in with the readathon. So I end up reading those because I don't want to have to go back on the wait list and not participating in the readathons. But I do have plans for the reading rush. We'll see how that goes. And in August, I am planning on participating in the Spartan Challenge, the Spartan manga reading challenge that's being hosted by Jen Graves, and it's just a challenge to read more manga in a month than you have all year, I guess. I did participate in the Lohali 30 for 30 in March. I think it was March. And ended up reading 40 volumes of manga in that month. So my goal for August is to read 41 volumes. I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue, though I did neglect all of my novel reading in March to do the manga challenge in March. Oh no, it wasn't March, because I did March Mystery Madness in March. Lohali 30 for 30 was in April. That's right. So yeah, I didn't read as much novels in April, so I'm definitely trying to stock in all of my novels in July so that I can have more time to read manga in August. But yeah, I'll leave the announcement video for the Spartan Manga Reading Challenge down in the description box below. So go check that out if you're interested. And yeah, let me know what you're reading or if you have any suggestions, and I will talk to you guys later. I hope you are all doing great, and until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.